right, so there's a good chance that if you're watching this video right now, if you clicked on this video, that you're trying to figure out how to not take things personal, how to not get offended by people and what they tell you, what they say to you. And frankly, we've all been offended. I've been offended. You've been offended. You know, the person you're going to show this video, because that's what you're going to do, is you're going to show this video to somebody who may get offended easily. That person, they've gotten offended plenty of times. And frankly, man, our entire world that we live in gets so offended so quickly. So quickly. And that's at the cost of us being a more sensitive generation, which can be good and can be bad. But basically, I want to get into the 3 different ways that you can not get offended and not take things personal. Drop a like on this video, comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone that you know gets offended easily, because I know you know someone that gets offended easily. Here's the first way to not get offended by anything that anybody tells you. I swear it. So the first way is very simple, very, very simple. And honestly, there's no real way for me to like tell you this. It kind of just has to be something that clicks in your head. It has to click in your head. And the next 2 ways will also kind of like explain or kind of trigger that click in your head. But basically, it's to not give a fuck about what anybody says, especially as a man too. From my perspective, you can't give a fuck about what anybody says. Me doing this video right now, there's hella people. I know there's hella people that know me personally, that if I gave a fuck about what they were saying, I wouldn't even be making this video. I wouldn't even be talking to y'all right now. So you just have to not give a fuck and do what is up here. Do what your intuition tells you. Do what that shit tells you. Because at the end of the day, bro, like, you got to think about it. You got to think about it. You only got one life, bro. One life. And I know it sounds so cliche, but if you really sit back and think about it, like, what am I going to be remembered for by the time I'm 70? What weight does my last name carry with you to the grave? Like, what kind of impact did I make on the world? People who are legendary people that made impacts on the world, do you think they care about what other people told them? Fuck no, they did it themselves. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to get y'all to realize, is that you need to just not give a fuck, bro. Just don't give a fuck. Because if somebody does give a fuck, like, you've already lost. You've already lost, because at that point, you're not even doing what you want to do. You want to do what someone else projects onto you, or you're just afraid. That's really the biggest thing, is just fear. And the way to conquer fear is just an entirely, completely different video. So if you want me to make a video on how to conquer your fear, or like step up your confidence, I can make an entire new video on that. So leave a comment down below. All right, so the second way to not get offended by anything, or like to not take it personal, we're kind of going to focus on the not taking it personal side of things. The way you don't take shit personal is you have to have the perspective. You need to gain this perspective, and you need to ponder on this very perspective right here, is that this life does not revolve just around you only. It doesn't revolve around you, meaning that when someone makes a choice and it affects you in a negative way, in the way that you didn't really want it to turn out, 9 times out of 10, it's not a malicious, deliberate choice that person made to screw you over. They got so much shit going on in their life that they probably weren't really thinking all that much about you. Unless it's the people that really care about you, then yeah, they'll keep you in mind, and it's up to them if they want to deliberately fuck you up or deliberately help you. But for just, you know, people that you don't have that real close connection to, they're not really thinking about what your set of situations that you have, your own demons that you are currently conquering, that you probably haven't shared with no one. They're not thinking about that because they don't fucking know. So you got to understand is that you're not the center of the fucking universe, meaning you're not involved in everybody's decision-making process that only benefits them. It's their decision-making process. Why the fuck would your presence come into their own decisions in that context, in that scenario itself? People are making decisions to help themselves because it's all about survival at the end of the day. If you can survive, that's the most important part. And we all know with survival, you'll do anything you fucking can to survive, meaning you won't think about other things like other people, so then you can ensure the best possible outcome for yourself. So that's what I mean, is not to take it personal, because there's so many factors that go into just the day-to-day life that we live, especially when there's so much goddamn technology. Do you understand? Like, that shit is another being in itself. If you really think about it, that shit's become turned into a sentient being almost, like with the way technology is. So that's like really influencing the decisions that people make tenfold. The last way, and I saved this one for last because I really do think it's the most complicated, but I think for me personally, it's the best way to not fucking take anything personal, not get offended. And that's number 3. Number 3, do not let language affect you negatively. Do not let language affect you. And I said this in my previous video that I made talking about if I'm still spiritual, and like my entire like philosophy that I've just now gained after my spiritual ego pretty much dying off, is going back to language. Language is everything. I realize language is literally everything we know. Everything we know. I wouldn't be able to make this video if it wasn't for language. This computer wouldn't even be in front of me if it was not for language, because you need the language to be able to communicate, and to be able to communicate, you need the letters, you know what I'm saying? Like, you need to be able to put plans in motion in it so it can manifest as a physical, object. Communication is literally everything. What I mean by this whole entire method of not taking shit personal, this third method, to not let language affect you, is to realize what language is. You need to know what language is, and you need to know how language started. When I say you need to know how language started, do a Google search. Do a Google search. How did language start? I guarantee you, you're going to get some kind of answer back. The thing is that when you get that answer back on Google, how do you know if that's really the answer? Are you just trusting what Google's saying? And if you're trusting what Google's saying and you think that's true, well, the people who told you that are trusting that what they're getting is true. And the people who, got that are trusting what came before that. And at the end of the day, bro, just keep tracing it back. And it traces back to pretty much letters, language, numbers. It traces back to all of that. And all of that at the end of the day is flawed, because like I said in my previous video, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. I've said that language is flawed. The origin of language is so flawed because humans are flawed. If we ourselves are not fully divine, our language is not going to reflect that. And because of that, our language is flawed. So how are you going to let a flawed language affect you in a negative way? How the fuck are you going to let someone saying something make you feel bad? The only reason it's making you feel bad is because you chose to make yourself feel bad by accepting that that is what that word means, and by accepting that that is what everybody told you that word means. Really, all that shit is you're choosing to accept everybody's definition of a word and letting that definition affect your body, affect the way you feel. That's ultimately what you're doing. Because these are just words in language, it's almost like a bullet in the Matrix. When the bullets get shot at Neo, he can like see the veil and stop him. He can stop him because he realizes this is all a fucking joke. It's all a joke. It's all a system. And once you're able to be conscious of that system, you can no longer, that means you are able to transcend that system, and you're able to overcome it and not let it affect you. You're able to swipe that shit away like Neo does. For real, for real. So that's how you not let it affect you, is you realize that what people are saying to you, the mean words people are saying to you, aren't rooted in anything, bro, because it's flawed. It's fucking flawed. It doesn't mean anything. It only means something if you let it mean something. So that's what I mean, is you have the agency over whether or not you get offended. It's all up to you. That's the most important reason right there in and of itself, is that this falls on you and your mind. So the truth is, stop getting offended by shit, bro. It's really that simple. Just don't get offended, and don't let these words affect you. Please be sure to drop a like down below. Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. What's your favorite of the 3 methods that you're going to use, that you're going to implement? And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new, man. We back on that fucking grind. You already know. It's been your boy Unseen. I will catch y'all in the next one, man. Peace.